I am Pepe LePew. Everyone should have a hobby, don't you think? Mine is making love.
As the once funniest man in England, the long-since-passed Peter Cook himself once said, "Love is what brings us together today." And while, surprisingly with that impedimental speech, he was not quoting or even emulating Elmer Fudd,
wasn't that lovely?
Cook was, albeit unintentionally, stating the outlook of a completely different Looney Tunes character, right down to the forced honeymoon, that of the recently canceled Pepe LePew. Now, if you don't want to listen to the funniest man in England speaking in character, then how about the funniest man in America, Dave Chappelle, speaking as himself?
And we watched Pepe LePew, and I'm old now. I'm looking like, good God, what kind of fucking rapist is this guy? Like, take it easy, Pepe. My nephew was sitting there cracking up. Hee. See, sometimes you gotta take the pussy like Pepe. Like, no.
Dave's the only kind of woke comic that I can get into, and he certainly had that rare thing, a good woke take on a classic Looney Tunes character. Observe.
Mommy.
Boy, I can't make fun of that fucking frog. Welcome back, niggers. Further down the abyss.
Seriously though, I'm not advocating it, but it is surprising to me that Chuck Jones's Michigan J. Frog hasn't been canceled yet, and what's more, that Pepe would be canceled before him, Pepe being another Jones creation. By the way, can you really take this seriously if Warner Brothers themselves don't, people? I mean, they did try to squeeze Pepe into Space Jam, and hell, even though they knew that they weren't allowed to use him in Looney Tunes cartoons, speaking of squeezing him in, they managed to do so in the background of this Bugs Bunny 80th birthday promotional thing. They got rid of him later, but the dumb thing is, both of these versions are available on YouTube, so it's not like they're that ashamed of the skunk, are they? And speaking of ashamed, Pepe himself is ashamed, and the skunk did apologize, folks. Oh yes, in a very real article that he wrote for The New Yorker. Although, I'm not going to shit on The New Yorker, as there's probably no non-cartoonist themed magazine in the world more devoted to cartoons. God bless, New Yorker, God bless. But either way, canceled Pepe most certainly was, and will probably remain for some time. And yet, as the Looney Tunes critic, I feel I must say this.
Who cares?
Or perhaps, more appropriately,
It'll be a big deal.
I don't have time to pretend like this affects or even upsets me. Mainly because if cancel culture actually worked, it wouldn't be taking its hopefully last of several desperate swings at, of all flimsy things, a cartoon character. What's up, Docs and Docettes? Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic here, just waiting to be canceled, just like Pepe. And people actually have tried to cancel me for real in the past. So if you want to cancel me, I say go for it. Go for it, man. I'd be gung-ho. You know what? If it means that when I'm writing these things in future, I no longer have to consider, all right, so how are idiots going to reinterpret this the wrong way? How do I reword this so that it's impenetrable and impossible to misunderstand for morons? Or, excuse me, the loony vernacular would be maroons. Seriously, here's something that no YouTube commenter has ever said. Okay, before I hit reply, just gonna proofread a little bit, do a little bit of fact checking. Don't want to come off as a complete psychopath. No. And they think very highly of themselves, too. These idiots are the same people who think that they are the reason why several months ago I had all of the comments, or a number of the comments, put to private. As if I even read the comments. So since YouTube commenters and Twitter people are here to cancel us all, I say go for it, man. I mean, really, bring it on, bitches. Because seriously, if you're taking swipes at a cartoon character, you're finding your little stance is gonna be damn it! Who is this? Who is this? Oh. Well, normally, folks, I would stop shooting, yell at this idiot for interrupting me, and then start a new take, but this is pertinent. The text reads, "Stop saying that stuff. People will come after you. We don't want a repeat of Space Jam: A New Legacy, WB Legal." I mean, Really, people will come after me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the interruption, but my useless sidekick, who some of you may remember from previous videos, Manx, just sent me this text. He and his brother Iggy have been... Oh, great, B-roll, great. But anyway, he and his brother have been helping to produce my shows in the past. They provide the B-roll, actually, that you're seeing. And then, during my move to this new location last year, I found a note saying that they had left the planet, but not to worry, as this would not inhibit their duties to the channel. So ever since then, they haven't been around, but Iggy has been producing the show remotely from space, and Manx... Well, he hasn't been around. His sidekicking duties have been a little lacking. I asked him how we were going to do this whole thing, and he said, we'll work it out, and that was the last we talked about it. So, second notification. Thank you very much. I'll read it again. It says, stop saying that stuff. People will come after you. Yada, 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 the thing about Space Jam. Like, what does that mean, you cryptic fuck? Seriously, I know you're watching. What does that mean? You think I'm afraid to talk about YouTube commenters, Manx? I'm really not. You think Warner Brothers Legal is going to come after me over that shit? I mean, fuck YouTube's engagement. Fuck.
He's not getting it. He doesn't understand. You should have called him. Nah, he'll get it. Have a little faith. You barely wrote anything. It's not Twitter. You can type more than 10 words, dum-dum. Although, considering that your IQ is in the negative, maybe 10 words is 9 too many for you. Fuck you. Man, F you. Just call him. I don't want to call him. You call him. Great. We can video in. It'll be a chance for Trevor's audience to finally see this ship that I have painstakingly constructed.
They can suck a fat donkey's dick. Pepe people can suck it. Here's what I think about the Pepe people. You want to know what I think about the Pepe people?
Shut up!
I beg your collective pardons.
Shut up! I'm talking. Sorry for the crudity of our interruption, but my brother here was not adept in conveying the importance of the situation. It's a very big deal.
I guess so. I haven't seen you guys on camera face to face since, well, the end of 2019. So, what's going on? I thought I was done having to worry about the comment section.
It ain't about the comment section, 90s hair. It's about Pepe. Pepe LePew's people are, in a word, litigious. And since you're the only person on YouTube to exclusively cover Looney Tunes' Merry Melodies, and what with all the recent debacle of other Space Jam 2 deleted scenes stuff, we have it on very good authority that he would be none too happy if you, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic, piled on. Yeah, he'd be all, et tu, Treve? Shut up. No. Yes. And, not to mention, doing this story several months after he was cancelled could be perceived in the cartoon community as a white man kicking a black skunk when he's down.
Guys, we may have to put an end to this whole remote operation from outer space thing. I mean, I'm open to having this kind of a discussion with you, but phoning in from outer space right as I start to shoot a video is majorly bad timing. I mean, what am I supposed to talk about now?
Man, like your long-winded ass is ever at a loss for something to talk about. But you can still talk about Pepe. We have an angle, and an angle that you can discuss, that the Pepe LePew camp will not get upset about, and it'll work for you and your guest.
An angle? Well, I guess you're gonna need... Wait, my guest? What is this about a guest? Since when are you booking my guest, Manx?
While it is certainly not in my nature to take an initiative and do something constructive to help you, it is in my nature to do the bare minimum. And the minimum part is the guest is my girlfriend, the fairy Twinklebelly. And the bare part is that she doesn't wear any pants.
A female cartoon character that doesn't wear pants. I would like to see that.
Hello, world. Hiya, Trev. Trev. Nice to finally meet ya.
Wow. You really know how to make an impression, Twink.
Impression? Do you think I should do my Madeline Kahn?
I told you two that this would happen. This whole area is very hard to get used to for humans, especially the humans that like female humans. All right, Spock, quit talking in code. What do you suggest? We jog his memory with a clip from a previous review. Yeah, jogging isn't really Trevor's thing.
I hated her so much that it
Will you just snap him out of it? It's the Porky 101 review. I gotta go load it up. Fine. Hey, Trev, snap out of it, will ya? You're on fire!
Flames! Flames on the side of my face! Breathing! Heating! Flames!
Yeah, I'm heating up for sure. So, what's this clip that Iggy wants to show me?
I don't know. I don't listen to him. I think he invented an Instagram filter.
No, dummy. He's talking about the Porky 101 review. That's the first time I was mentioned.
Context is important, and the clip's ready to go. It took up the database a little while to find it, but I made some updates to the system so clips can now be loaded 42% quicker. Oh boy, where this ship would be without your wonderful innovation.
Actually, about that. You know I'm all about science and experimentation, but...
Yeah, this new invention of yours?
The stachiophonic oxygenetic amplifier graphophonic deliverberator?
Yeah. It's not for me, Ig.
But you love butterscotch.
I know, sweetie, but I love my own voice more. Besides, I already look prepubescent. I don't need to sound like it.
Fine. Just wrap it up in a foil. Don't be gross. All right, so where's this clip, Einstein? It's up your butt. So, Trev, as promised, here's Twink's first mention in one of your reviews, that of the making and controversy of Porky Pig 101. Play it, computer. Play it, computer. I put it on a delay so it wouldn't just interrupt us mid-sentence. That's good. Oh, criminy. Let me go see what's taking so long. Which was what we were watching in the 80s and 90s. 480 glorious, odd and even lines of resolution. It was an idyllic time, to be sure. I don't know what idyllic means, but it certainly was a good time in the 80s. That's when I met my girlfriend. You met her in the 20s, and she's not your girlfriend. Ah, can you say? We're in love. We are in love. Perhaps, but not with each other.
Thanks. You been holding out on me? You got a girl?
No!
What's her name?
What does this have to do with video and scan lines? Or for that matter, what does Twinklebelly have to do with Porky Pig? No, pants. She doesn't wear pants, of course. Yeah, I heard it and I said it. It's obvious. So now you know who this bottomless beauty is. Wow, Trevor is checked out like the hottest book in the library. I wonder how long ago we lost him.
Probably when we hijacked his show. Poor guy thought he had a video about Pepe.
He still could. I mean, your idea's good, Twink. It's worth discussing.
Aw, thank you, sweetie.
Hey, fearless leader. You wanna get back to us? Iggy's done needlessly explaining shit. It's not needless, Trevor. There's important stuff here. To know and to see. It's all about context, really. And context is important. Why? Where would we be if it were not for context? And I'm a science man, and...
Ah. We're back?
It appears we have made contact, good doctor. The subject is responsive.
You're welcome.
Hey, were you on your phone the entire time that clip played?
Not the entire time. My ex texted me right when it started, and then I texted her back, and then when she didn't respond, I was checking her Facebook. Oh, she unfriended me.
Well, I guess I can play the clip again. I'll go reset the delay.
Sweetie, no, we don't... Trevor doesn't have time for this.
We don't have time for this.
Bitch, what do you have going on?
I mean, we could be up in your room watching Dairy Girls is all I'm saying.
You mean Daddy Gatos?
Daddy Guddles?
Daddy Guddles.
Daddy Guddles.
Take your time. She posted new pics anyway. Oh, of her and her new boyfriend. I gotta tell you, Ig, for a genius, you sure don't recognize social patterns or even body language. I mean, anyone with half a brain cell can see I'm just totally checked out over here. You guys hijack my show. You tell me you have a new angle and guest on my Pepe LePew video. I had my own thing, man. I had my own angle, as I often do. I wasn't going to talk about the Space Jam stuff. Everyone knows the Space Jam Pepe LePew deleted scenes at this point. I had my own, and you're telling me his people are litigious now? Well, I can't even show this thing anymore. So, I mean, you said an angle, a different angle, a guest. We're 10 minutes into this video, you guys, and you've delivered neither. So, by all means, play the fucking Porky review clip again. Maybe I'll notice the twink gets mentioned in it this time.
You bet. I'll go load it up in the computer right now. It shouldn't take me too long.
Alright, stop! Iggy, Trevor's right. It doesn't matter that I was mentioned in an older episode or two, and it certainly doesn't matter that on the day that Jerry Beck was interviewed for the Porky 101 review, he may have mentioned something about how the Warner Brothers like to...
Which was what we were watching in the 80s and 90s. 480 dang delay! Stop clip, computer! It was an idyllic time to be... I said stop clip, computer! It certainly was a good time. I'm sorry, Twink. You were saying?
I was saying we're getting nowhere fast. Hey, Trevor! Trevor! Hey, dude! Can you look at me for a second?
Actually, Twink, I was.
My best angle?
Blaming corner?
Enough with these two. Listen, I have a really cool take on the whole Pepe thing. Can I run it by you?
I mean... Now? You guys really knocked the wind out of my sails, I gotta say it. I mean, and after all that shtick we just did, having Twink come down and being a guest, I mean, will be more interesting and conveying the point of admonishing Pepe in a video, especially if Pepe's people are as litigious as you guys are maintaining. I think it would be a lot more interesting is if we had Twink dance to that song Chick Habit by April March. We could convey the point by just by the lyrics of the song, and Twink dancing, I'm imagining, is a lot more visually stimulating.
Hang up the chick habit, hang it up, daddy, or you'll be alone in a quick. Hang up the chick habit, hang it up, daddy, or you'll never get another fix.
I don't know, just after all this stuff, I don't want to talk anymore, you know?
Great! Then you won't interrupt. I'm gonna come down there, I'm gonna sit on that couch with you, and we'll discuss it.
Fucking Batgirl.
Jesus Christ. You scared the shit out of me, lady. How did you do that anyway?
I can do anything.
Anything.
Uh-huh.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right. Insert a tampon.
You got it, asshat.
Me and my big mouth.
Now scoot over. You've had enough of a free shot.
And now, these messages.
Today's video is sponsored by this latest invention from Ignatius Labs. Tired of sounding like a normal person? Want to sing to Alvin and the Chipmunks without squeezing your balls? Do you love butterscotch? Then you need this little sucker. Pop it in your mouth and instantly become lusted after by gamers and anime fans. The Stachiophonic Oxygenic Amplifier Graphophonic Deliverberator. Sure, it looks like a Werther's original, but it's not. The Stachiophonic whatever it's called. Now available in peppermint.
We now return to the Bugs Bunny and Tweety Show.
All right, Twink, let's get to it. The boys say that you have a take on Pepe LePew. I am resigned to not giving a rat's fucking ass.
A skunk's ass.
A skunk's ass in hell, or Paris, whichever comes first, about the whole Pepe thing. I think it's ridiculous, and so I wasn't going to make a video. So if you're wondering, folks, why this video is late in the game, so to speak, on the Pepe thing, it's because I never really gave a fuck. But
A lot of people didn't.
yes, but apparently there's my cohorts up in space have a take. So
Well, when you're up in space, you have a lot of time to think about a lot of things.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, Manx is your boyfriend, so you don't, there's not a lot of thinking going on between the two of you. I'd imagine you have to do the lion's share of the thinking.
And how? I noticed that a lot of people were mad that people were mad at Pepe LePew, but I didn't actually see the initial anger that sparked it. Now, maybe I just live in an echo chamber, literally. It gets really echoey in the whiskey bottle. And maybe I just didn't see it, but I really didn't see it. Now, it seemed like a lot of this backlash stemmed from the fact that Pepe's not going to be in that Space Jam 2 movie, right?
Space Jam: A New Legacy, yes. Well,
Hey, wait a minute. I got a question. Why is she talking about Space Jam 2 in the past tense? Well, space-time is different than Earth-time. Plus, they shot this back in April, but it's a YouTube video, so it's going to have continuity errors like this. Well, I guess that explains it. But I got another question. Why are we watching them? Well, I'm watching them because I'm the producer of the show, and you're watching, presumably, because... What do you got going on?
I saw the trailer. It looks very...
Bitch?
We'll get to that in just a second. And I have a couple things to say about the anger regarding this skunk cartoon. This little skunk cartoon that we're all very concerned with. Don't get me wrong. I love cartoons. I am a cartoon. But even as a cartoon, a person that lives in the cartooniverse, if you will, I acknowledge that there are just way more things to be angry about. But let's address the Pepe LePew thing real quick, right out of the gate. It sucks. I'm really sorry that your favorite character is being treated like this. I am sorry. I can't imagine if I jumped on the blogosphere tomorrow and somebody said Pinky and the Brain are now considered canceled. I don't know what they would be canceled for.
Yes! Pinky, we are canceled. Hey, God, brilliant! That means we can't go outside anymore! No!
I mean, we couldn't go outside to begin with.
That's true. Now
I couldn't go outside because if I go outside, I'll die because we're in outer space.
You've got to wear a mask, Brian.
But yeah, I can't imagine, like, they're my favorite characters. I can't imagine how I would react.
Right.
I assume I wouldn't be very happy about it.
Can I just say, for the record, as the resident Looney Tunes fan here, I don't think any of us' favorite character is Pepe. He's not that popular.
You say that, and now, well, you're right, but you say that, and now there's going to be like that one person like, I love Pepe LePew. I know everything about him. I know how many hairs are supposed to be on his tail.
Exactly. He's going to slide into my DMs.
Yeah. Well,
like Penelope.
The thing is, there's a lot of people in the world. One person is going to be a fan of Pepe, so I'm addressing that.
I guess, yeah, okay.
But you're right, though. Pepe wasn't in that many cartoons.
Nope.
By comparison, Fifi LaFume, his protege from Tiny Toon Adventures, she's in 98 episodes. That is double the appearances that he has made.
And that's going to speak to what I was about to say anyway, which is that the reason why he's not in a lot of cartoons, and the reason why she probably is, Pepe, much like the Roadrunner, Pepe is one note. The joke is one thing. So that gets old pretty quick, even in an era when you don't have reruns and shit like that, and it's all in the thing. But for some reason, and I'm friends with writers on Tiny Toons, I know that there were maybe 3 episodes in, they're like, okay, we actually have to give her something to do.
Yeah.
We have to make her a character. She can't just be a Pepe Xerox. And one of the things that they encountered early on was the realization that you really couldn't flip the characters because Fifi is gorgeous. And a gorgeous woman who wants to love you and kiss you, most guys would be all about it. So the resistance thing doesn't really work.
I mean, you say that, but it's...
They said it.
Yeah, I'm glad they said it, but I could respectfully disagree on some points. But yeah, she is like a cuter drawn character. Even though Pepe is not ugly looking, like I've seen some.
Oh no, he's based on Charles. Oh fuck, was it Charles Boyer? Excuse me. Very, very handsome actor. But specifically, I should say before you finish your point, real quick, because now that I mentioned Charles Boyer, a lot of people will mention this in the comments and cite it. Charles Boyer is not the influence for Pepe. It's a specific performance that he did. A lot of times people say, "Oh, Charles Boyer is what Pepe is," but he's not, because he did other, all sorts of other roles. He had a long career, but Pepe is specifically based on a role that Boyer did in a 1938 Hedy Lamarr film called Algiers, and the character that he plays is named Pepe Lamoco, and so when Mel Blanc is doing that voice, he's done that voice, and they've done other cartoons where characters are seducing other characters.
I will give you diamonds, pearls, amen.
And they use the Algiers Pepe Lamoco voice. So Mel Blanc is doing, the character too. And you mentioned being handsome. Chuck Jones gave the skunk Boyer's trademark bedroom stare that he has in that movie, and so that's what those half-closed eyes are.
Yeah, so he's not like. I mean, this is gonna sound very weird. I don't think skunks are ugly. I think they're really cute.
They are. They
look like little tiny
like
kitties.
kitty cats. That's
why.
That's why Penelope's a cat.
So Pepe. Now there's. Again, after the whole reactionary, can you believe what they're doing to Pepe? They're canceling Pepe, blast in ignominy, all that good stuff. There became a giant discourse between one side and the other about, well, is Pepe even good enough to care about? Art and humor is highly subjective. So I can't really sit here and say, Pepe is dumb, Pepe is stupid, Pepe is not funny, then fuck you for liking it, you're stupid, you're a rapist if you like Pepe. No, I can't say that. It's very subjective. Mm-hmm. However, I can say I don't think, personally, Pepe is that good.
I will say that some of our fans do have a problem with dismissing people's personal experiences.
Yeah.
I had a friend who said, the trauma in Penelope's eyes is very real to me.
Yeah.
And some of our fans, I don't want to say they discount it, but it's not real to them.
Yeah. And so I'm going to get to that in just a second.
Okay. Sorry.
He doesn't really... The joke is supposed to be on him because he's a stinky skunk who keeps getting romantically denied. However, the joke is never on him because he doesn't ever really suffer. He doesn't have any shame. And you can still not have shame and still be the butt of the joke, but he doesn't actually suffer really. I mean, maybe one or two times, maybe, but in the overall, in the overall kind of lexicon, he doesn't really suffer any negative comeuppance. Whereas Johnny Bravo works because he is constantly suffering negative comeuppance, but he doesn't get discouraged. And that's why his character works. He still suffers it. And also, the other reason Johnny Bravo works is that all the women that Johnny is hitting on...
They see right through that shit.
They see right through it, and they have so much agency. Mm-hmm. Whether they verbally tell him off, or they just ignore him, or sometimes they just beat his ass. Mm-hmm. Penelope, he has her squished in his arms, and she is actively pushing him away and can't.
Right.
And we'll get to why that's a problem in a second. And I can't really, and even though we keep making the joke that there's only 8 or 9 people, 2 or 1 person that actually likes Pepe, I believe it when people actually did like Pepe. I can believe that there actually are a lot of fans of Pepe because this is the same country and culture that made Big Ed a phenomenon. Another stinky, unaware predator, essentially, that everyone just decided to make famous. He's Pepe without fur. Smells like mayonnaise. If you can imagine he's like Pepe run amok. He's Pepe without writers.
He's Pepe without the charm. I mean,
right?
Even though there's
at least Pepe had some modicum of charm.
Pepe
it's charm that if somebody came at me with Pepe's charm, I would see through it, but I would still acknowledge that there is a level of charm there. Right. I would see through it.
But I do want to say something though before we move on off of Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that was interesting about the comparison between Pepe and Johnny Bravo is that there's a running narrative that is his teleplay, his constant fucking, he's teleplaying his life. And what's funny in terms of the difference of it and why Johnny Bravo seems to have gotten it better, like figured it out, the comedy in it, is that Pepe is constantly...
He has one goal.
But the dialogue for the whole cartoon is just Pepe's teleplay.
Yeah. So...
that's how you can confuse it as being he's like supposed to be a hero type or something. It's like no, he's in his own little world. He's closed off. But Johnny Bravo, he does that shit too. But everyone else hears it and is like, "What are you saying, dude?"
Yeah,
like
it's meta. Almost.
They did a better job of taking the self-righteous teleplay and using that too to show the thing.
And it works.
And it works on The Office too because Michael Scott's version of that is the camera.
Yes, that's a perfect example. And also, with Johnny Bravo, they were able to have so much more fun with Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Like, we went to, like, an Amazonian country or something, and, like, there was one where, like, a toy, like, tranked him with a poisonous dart, and it was...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Al, you have 6 seconds of consciousness left. Use them wisely.
So yes, Johnny, yay, Pepe, nay.
If you worked on Johnny Bravo and you're one of my buddies, slide into my DMs, man. And if I haven't told you before, great fucking show, dude. Great show.
Love me.
Bring that back.
Yes! Where's that reboot?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of against reboots because it's never as good as the original.
You would know. Katie, you are killing it. She's directing Animaniacs reboot.
And okay.
They've done an amazing job.
I haven't been able to watch it yet, so if it's good, everything I've heard is good.
I'm telling you, Twink. So. And that was she was nervous too, and I remember telling.
So I want to talk about something a little bit more serious. I know we keep making the jokes, and I don't want to like over serious something when we're talking about cartoons and funny stuff. But talking about the agency that the women in Johnny Bravo's show had, there's a clear disconnect because Penelope had no agency in any of those episodes, in any of those shorts, any of them. She had zilch.
She had more agency in Carrot Blanca, which was done in 1994, and it was a parody of Casablanca, and she was the Ingrid Bergman character. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. But I would implore people that do find Pepe funny, and the people that are just so outraged that he's getting as much hate as he's getting. I want you guys to kind of like delve deep inside yourselves and pull out that little scrap of empathy that I'm sure that you have, because for a large portion of the population, we see the terror, and I say we see the terror in Penelope's eyes as she is trying very hard to push Pepe off of her. And we are all reminded of a time where we had that same look in our eyes. And I gotta tell you, we're not laughing at that memory. I just implore some of you to have a little bit of empathy when speaking to people that might get, I know this is kind of like an overused word nowadays, but they might get triggered watching a creepy son of a bitch basically force himself on a character with no agency. One of the other reasons that I can't watch freaking Big Ed. So yeah, all I'm saying is have a little bit of empathy for people that just can't with Pepe LePew. Just can't even. But yeah, and the other thing is like you kind of want to root for Pepe. Because if you just see Pepe...
I didn't know I could say that, actually.
Well, you kind of...
I didn't know I was allowed to say that.
I'm sorry if I made you feel that way, but that was a shitty apology, wasn't it? Sorry if I made you feel that way.
I buy it.
But you almost want to... If you just looked at Pepe...
Can I just say...
In not regards to Penelope.
Yeah.
He's a cute little skunk that just wants to fall in love. You want to root for that.
And when you're young, you don't see the other side of it, especially as a guy. But when you say you root for Pepe, that's very true, because as a guy, I'm just like, we all have our own disgustingness that we acknowledge, that we know. But I remember getting like college level and thinking like, well, maybe the whole thing about the metaphor is that he knows he's fucking stinky, but we guys turn off all that shit and we just turn it up, put on the game, and we don't acknowledge that our breath stinks or whatever.
Don't acknowledge the flaws.
The flaws, because if we did, then we wouldn't be attractive, or at least that was the thinking when you're a younger man.
If we don't see the flaws, if we don't think about our flaws, they don't exist.
If you're a younger man, that's what you would. That's the way you would think.
You know how Pepe actually could have worked, and I would have liked if he would have just been pining after her and kind of how Wile E. Coyote never caught the Roadrunner, but and then Pepe Le Pew would end up hurting himself or falling off of a balcony pining over her, or he'd be setting up this elaborate date for her, and then she would miss it, and then something wackety schmackety do would happen, and that would have worked. But the fact that he had to grab her while she is no, that is it doesn't age. It's what does Lindsay Ellis say in her Mel Brooks review? Comedy is the first thing to age, and the first thing to age poorly.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate.
But so at the end of the day,
I do think though that there is a degree of misunderstanding going on, and I was telling you this the other day, where it reminded me a lot of the Honeymooners. I used to think that when something didn't age well, it was just people being ignorant. Mm-hmm. But you eventually realize, nobody's going to take the time to even, they don't even know that there might be a context that they're missing, to say nothing of that they should go and figure things out. But it does remind me of about 15 years ago, there was a big, the woke world was upset about reruns of the Honeymooners, and their take on it was that Ralph Cramden was a wife beater. When in action, but none of these people ever watched the show, because the whole joke, and again, maybe it doesn't age well, but the original joke was Ralph is a fucking idiot and he doesn't see it. And his wife, every time he threatens his wife, Alice is right here, and she's like, I fucking dare you. You don't got the balls.
Did she say fuck?
How great would that be, right?
They couldn't even say pregnant back then.
But seriously, she would get in his face and you don't got it. She goes, you don't got the stones, or whatever she says. And, and if you didn't know that he's an idiot, then his best friend should be the fucking Norton is an even bigger idiot than he is. And what does he do every episode? You're right, Ralphie boy. I know you're it's Fred and Barney. Mm-hmm. So while the normality of the time where hitting your wife, which is when this thing was done in the 40s, while it's uncomfortable, yes, they weren't actively making the joke that it's okay to hit your wife, which is what all of these woke people were suggesting.
Is it almost like only dumb people hit their wives because he's an idiot? Or
that's kind of what it was. Yeah, it's you're a moron. Of course you would threaten to hit your wife because you can't fucking reason with her, because you can't argue, because you're a moron.
I guess, context is important. So you're right. On the flip side of that, just to play devil's advocate.
I understand.
If I need to play devil's advocate, I need a trilby and call everybody "m'lady."
Yeah.
Well, actually, just to be devil's advocate, now you're really going to get some hate in your comments.
It's just another day for me. But I mean, seriously though.
But the context of it is important. Context is very important. Mm-hmm. However, at the same time, it's the ends they don't justify the means. So even whatever the show was meaning to say, if it doesn't age well, and at the end of the day people aren't reading that,
I should say that my opinion has changed on that. When it happened, the Honeymooners thing, when it was happening, I was right up there with every other, well, these idiots, they don't know, blah. Now I understand. Of course it makes sense that they're going to think that. They didn't watch the show. They know stuff from that time is problematic at best. And, I understand people reacting that way now. I didn't when it happened.
And it
Younger.
this is going to sound very babyish, but like wholesome comedy just ages a little bit better. Penis.
All right.
Bugs Bunny's Valentine will begin after these messages.
But I was thinking while I was having these very profound thoughts, penis, that what if, since we've established here at Ferris Wheelhouse that cartoons are real.
Can I touch your shoulder?
Yes, thank you for asking. Consent is sexy. Hear that, Pepe? Anyway, so what if the soul of Pepe somehow left his body and then like became like an evil spirit, you know, like a maligned evil spirit, like gone is the charming little skunk of yore, and he inhabited Big Ed's body, and so now Big Ed is basically possessed by the evil malign spirit of Pepe LePew, and that's why he's such a mayonnaise covered shit.
I mean, it's as good a theory as the next.
Hey, look. I thought a lot about this. I know what I'm talking about.
You going somewhere?
I'm going back up to the ship. I have a book I want you to read.
Belly Bell, what the hell? This video was originally intended to be a quickie, a Looney Tunes Critic quickie, and now it's a full-on review. I mean, I want a quickie. Get up here now.
Okay, sweetie. I'm almost done down here.
Yeah, we'll be done even sooner, okay? I'm going up to your room right now, and I'm gonna start watching Dairy Girls without you.
Uh-oh. Sorry, Trev. We gotta cut this short. Because Manx is a patriarchal little rodent, and once he gets control of that remote, he will not relinquish it, and I will be forced to watch Dairy Girls without subtitles. And I will have absolutely no idea what's going on because their accents are all so damned accurate.
I've been there, bro. Well, it was really nice meeting you.
So formal. Give us a hug.
Okay, I guess I'll have to stand for that, huh?
If you want to keep it friendly, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you smell like butterscotch?
Why don't you ask your friend Yvonne Craig over there?
Yvonne Craig? What the hell are you... Bad girl. Got it.
Hey, boss man. So I'm guessing that Twinklebelly is all done with you?
Yeah, you could say that. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Yeah, you could say that. She Batgirled my ass, and I assume went back up to the well, whatever it's called. What is the name of your vessel?
I built this ship out of a whiskey bottle. It was the perfect size for 2 mice and a fairy, but because it originally contained the hooch, Twink decided we should call it the Sour Mash.
It's a good name. So, she's back on the Sour Mash, huh?
Oh yes, she and Manx are up in her room right now watching Dairy Girls. Timely Irish humor. What's the matter, Twink? You didn't like that one?
I mean, you have the remote. Can't you put on the subtitles or something? I'm only getting like every 5th word.
Ma chérie Blossom, how I love the taste of your lips. Get a lipstick while you may, is what I always say.